Garima lohiya essay 1. Topic: One cannot change the world alone but can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. 1965. India was plagued with a war-ravaged economy and agricultural distress. The surmounting pressure of USA under the PL 480 was also very high. Lal Bahadur Shastri, the then Prime Minister, initiated two practices on his own: fasting one day a week and growing fruits and vegetables in his own garden. Evidently, one might wonder what impact would this effort have on the national level distress. But as Mother Teresa proved to the world, one cannot change the world but can cast a stone across water to create many ripples. Shastriji asked the entire nation to replicate the two practices at their individual level. This definitely did not end the crisis situation but proved to be a step in the right direction. Today the world is plagued with the multifaceted challenges ranging from global warming, reducing economic integration, racial intolerance, inequality, constant fear of a third world war. History is full of examples of individual act of reformative zeal that proved to be liberating for the entire society. Raja Ram Mohan Rai fought for the cause of abolishing the most inhuman and cruel act of mankind, Sati Pratha, when he formed the Brahmo Samaj in 1814. He did not envision that this step would ultimately lead to abolition of Sati in 1829 and restore the right of dignity to women of India. Similarly, Dr. Ambedkar's act of burning the Manusmriti or drinking water from the Mahar tank had sparked much needed conversation around the plight of untouchables and alienated, with victory in the form of constitutional provisions such as Article 14, 15, 26 and 17. John Locke, Rousseau, Voltaire talked about the fundamental rights of a man, equal status of all, and questioned the divine right of church to rule. These Enlightenment thinkers provided impetus to the American and French Revolution, which ultimately helped establish successful democracies in the world. The journey of stepping forward to take the first step is not always free of adversities. Initial failures, racialization and oppression should not demotivate one to do so. Rupan Bajaj, an IAS officer, filed a case of sexual harassment against a super cop, an elite privileged man. She was threatened, ridiculed, and initially lost the call. But her cause boosted her grit and resilience, and in the end, Supreme Court recognized this and she won the case. This one small step towards not accepting patriarchy, fighting for self-worth and dignity, definitely created ripples across the country. Due to efforts and initiatives of strong and fearless women such as Bhanwari Devi, Nirbhaya, today strong institutional mechanisms such as Visakha Guideline, POS Act, stringent provisions such as 375 in IPC, Fast Track Court exist for emancipation of women. According to UNEP report, sea level rise and global warming are unprecedented, maximum in the last 4 decades. It will prove to impact all strata of our society, rich and poor countries, developed and underdeveloped, and act as a great equalizer. What is needed to take inspiration from individuals such as Greta Thunberg, whose concern for environment should make us all take little steps which will have huge impact. Only if every individual focuses on reducing their own carbon footprint, reducing per capita water consumption, decarbonizing transport, giving up plastic, adopting sustainable lifestyle, the world will definitely be a better place to live in. This is also the idea having the Earth Hour. Elon Musk, often in talks for his innovation, is the brain behind reusable rockets. It might appear to be just one innovation for many, not realizing its indelible impact and contribution in dealing with space debris. One of the most debated issues in space world. COVID-19 was one such phase when we could dwell upon the uncertain nature of life. But as it is said, uncertainty should not lead to depravity, rather innovations. During COVID, when our health infrastructure broke down, acute dearth of medical facilities, beds, oxygen cylinders, we saw individuals like Sonu Sood, who proved to be a savior for the huge migrant population. His effort inspired people all across who come forward to act as a social support system during times of crisis. On social media, individuals share authentic information regarding availability of beds, medicines, injections, and help each other. Does all of this not reiterate the fact that the world can indeed be the fact that the world can indeed be a much better place for all of us to achieve happiness if each one of us takes the initiative? The political environment all across the world points towards the threatened democratic values, autocratic rulers. The recent overturning of Roe versus Wade judgment in the USA also sparked off the debate on women's right over their own body. Through it, though it is true that one individual cannot change the world alone, but we as responsible voters and citizens can choose not to consume politics based on narrow sense and communalization, casteism, regionalism. Despite laws in place for almost all the crimes such as Dowry Prohibition Act, Prevention of Atrocities Act, Juvenile Delinquency Act, however, we still witness crime is on the rise. Laws can only decide the direction in which the society should move. However, it is the people, their culture, that decides the direction in which the society actually moves. We should focus on improving our individual ethics and not deviate from our moral values. Poverty and rising inequality in the world is the root cause of social problems such as migration, late conflict, refugee crisis, crime, civil war. The fear of relative deprivation led to Sri Lanka civil war, which resulted in the death of thousands of Tamils, Sinhalese and the IPKF members. The Menek cuts across hierarchies of caste, religion, country and is all persuasive. Surely one human cannot make the world more inclusive and equal, but each one of us can be more accommodative of the interest of different sections. Gandhiji in his Talisman said, whenever in doubt whether a particular decision should be implemented or not, look at the face of the poorest, the most downtrodden section of your society. If the decision brings any good to them, it should be implemented. If all of us keep this in mind, then issues arising out of development, late displacement, conflicts over forest use can be minimized. It is argued that development that is not engendered is endangered, and women of today have proved their significant contribution in socio-economic development. Though individual women themselves have not been able to abolish the gender stereotype patriarchy that exists, but women like Indira Nooyi, Kalpana Chawla, Kiran Majumdar and our first tribal women president Draupadi Murmu have definitely set the stage by breaking the glass ceiling and creating a vision and dream of an equal world. Even Swami Vivekananda said that a bird cannot fly on one wing and that all of us cannot progress fully until half of us are held back, said by Malala Yousafzai. With increasing racial intolerance, communal disharmony and rising regional aspirations, it is time we as individuals not fall in the trap of leaving effect, not participate in any ideology that threatens national integration. We should focus on developing our multiple identities and came out of parochialism. When Gandhiji's a simple dhoti lad man had talked about bringing independence with his principle of ahimsa and satyagraha. There were people who mocked this idea, but Gandhiji was not deterred due to initial retaliation such as repressive Rowlatt Act 1919. Instead, it strengthened his resolve and ultimately independence was asserted on 15 August 1947. He proved to us where an army of soldiers cannot penetrate, an army of principle can. It is not necessary that to bring a change in the world you need an entire army. Rather, one strong step in the right direction will be enough. As Gita reiterates that no matter if we cannot change the world alone, but at least we can change the world for one person. That would definitely inspire a lot more people to be more caring, sympathetic and compassionate. We all take inspiration from the generous work done by NGOs such as Beti Bachao by Kailash Satyarthi, Ratan Tata, Sudha Murthy. These individuals leave an indelible impression on the mind of thousands of youth. In today's world, which has become even more connected via social media, we must not underestimate the impact of one strong voice, one honest effort. It is very famously said that if I cannot change the whole world or by myself, I can at least try to change by my nation. If not, I can try to change my family. If not, at least myself. After all, changes begin from oneself. Be the change you want to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi. Essay 2. Topic: Patriarchy arises out of same constellation that engenders casteism, racism and communalism. It will be dealt in a next video. Thank you.